Hello everybody, I wanted to take a few minutes just to show you what the course setup should look like, and I'm going to start in the Meet the Instructor section. And when you go in for the first time, you're going to see this sample contact here. We're going to create our own contact, and what we could either do is by clicking on the drop down arrow here, you can edit it or you can delete it. I'm going to click on edit, and you can see that we just basically replace our information here, and then we could submit it, or we could edit it. We could delete it rather, and just start with a brand new contact. So I'm actually going to leave that one in place just so that I'm not messing up the sample on somebody else's course. And I'm going to go into create contact, and this is where you are going to enter your information. Professor, doctor, Mr., Mrs., however you want to be called. What I will tell you is that by using Mr. or Mrs. as a title, a lot of students were somewhat confused about whether or not they were talking to the instructor of the course. So by using either doctor or professor, that kind of helps establish that context for the student. And I'm just going to add that information. And your work phone is going to be the phone number that you are assigned through Teams. So for me, it's 203-828-2662. And if you do not have a Teams number set up for newer associate faculty members, your Teams number might not have been set up, you can just leave this part blank and then encourage your students to contact you via your email. I do encourage you to update this section once your Teams number is in, as some students do like to contact you via phone. For office location, you can either write remote or you can write virtual. Either one of those is fine, or online. And then for office hours, what we do look for is at least 2 hours of specific office hours time. That doesn't mean that you actually have to be sitting at your desk, but it could mean that you are available, that you're going to be able to answer your phone, that a student has a reasonable assurance that they'll be able to get back to you really quickly. For some students, they may think that their instructor is not available if they don't answer right away. If the instructor is on a phone call or on a Teams call with another student. So I just want to emphasize that you don't actually have to be sitting at your office waiting for calls to come in. We just look for a time range where students have that reasonable assurance that they can reach you. I'm just going to, I'm going to copy and paste mine, and I'll enter that here. So under office hours, I have a couple of specific times. I like to break mine up for a morning session and an evening session, and I also monitor the instructor drop-in office hours from 11 to 11:30 on Tuesdays. So I do put that there for them. If you do have a Teams meeting set up, which is something that you can create if you elected to, you can put a link here, or you can put a link in your announcements, however you want to do it. For notes, there we go. This is a great section for you to put your little biography. And during your new instructor orientation, one of the assignments was to write a biography. So this is a great place to actually copy and paste that information into. I still use the same one that I created once when I went through my orientation, and then I just kind of update it as time goes on. So under the notes section, that's where we're really looking for some information about you. And the reason why this is important is because it helps students develop a connection with you right away. They get to know you, they get to understand you a little bit better. They also get to see the value of your credentials that you bring to the course. From here, what we want to do is add an image, and what I've seen is that the images that you add are often distorted, and so I always recommend taking a photo and then kind of cropping it to a 1-to-1 ratio or a square ratio. And I don't have my professional one on this computer, so I'm just going to leave that blank for right now. And but we do encourage for you to add a picture here. That way students can have a face to put with the name. And then the last thing that is really important is to actually make this profile available. If you leave it on no and click on submit, you're going to see that item is hidden from students. So if you were to go into your student view, you're not going to be able to see this, this information here. If you forget to do that at first, you can click on the down arrow and then go to edit, and then scroll down and click on make profile available. Click on submit, and you'll see that that has disappeared. So the last thing that you want to do, if you have not done so already, is once your contact is up, to go ahead and delete the sample contact. Again, I'm going to leave that here because I'm in one of your courses, and I'm going to go ahead and actually delete mine so that my information isn't visible on yours. And I will show you what my finished one looks like within my course. So you should have your name and title, your email address, your phone number. I'm working remote. I have very specific office times. You can also indicate that you are available by appointments as well. These are just that particular time frames that students know, once again. And then a little bit of information about you. From here, what we want to do is go into your course announcements section, and we're going to create an announcement. And we ask that your introductory announcement be a video. Students really love the videos, the video-based content that is provided. I've asked students what they like or don't like about a lot of the things, and they really enjoy having instructors create videos for their announcements. They feel more connected. I've had a lot of students that say that it's a more personal touch, that they felt like the instructor is part of the course and not here to just drop in and give grades. So that's one of the reasons why we like to add video content. And the way to really do that is to click on this little plus here to add content. And then you can go down to YouTube video. And then if you have added a video to your YouTube channel, this is where you can search for it. I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a search for Elton Dean Term 4. And then here is the welcome video that I posted in my course. I'm just going to click on that and select it. Then I can click on submit. And that is what is going to add that video, and they can click on watch video, and that will bring them to the YouTube channel. We do ask that you include the URL in addition to the video. That way, if students want to click on it right from the announcement, they can do that as well. I always add a short little paragraph or just a couple of insights or some supplemental information, give it a subject. And for your welcome email, that does not get sent via email. That is only going to be placed in the course because students are still getting balanced out at this point, and not all of the students are going to be in your course list yet. Once Unit 1 begins on that Monday, every announcement from there, you're going to click on send a copy of this announcement immediately, and that way it'll post it both to your course announcements and it will send it to your student emails, to your email and to all of the course users, including program chairs and myself. And so anybody who's listed as a user in your course will have access to that announcement via your email. And I'm going to press cancel here. And the last thing that we ask you to do is to go into the Ask the Instructor tab. And we want you to click on the subscribe button. And that way, anytime somebody posts a question in the Ask the Instructor forum, you're going to get an email notifying you that there is a question there for you to check. And we do ask that anytime that you respond to a student, even if you call them, if you email them, if you text them, and you address their question outside of the course, that's great. A lot of times that's how we want to do it anyways, because it may deal with either personal or sensitive information that we don't want to share with the class. But I do recommend that you go under here and at least reply to them and say that, you know, I sent you an email. I will follow up with you via phone call, however you're going to do it, just so that there's an answer. And that's really important, because when I go through to look at your courses and see if you've responded to Ask the Instructor form within 24 hours, that's how I know that you have. But it also lets students know that you are answering students when they post a question here. Even if you have answered all of the inquiries in the Ask the Instructor forum, but students go on to the forum and they don't see any of the answers in here, they may think that you're not being responsive when in fact you are. So it does create that appearance and that confidence for the student to know that you are going to get to them. So that is pretty much what your course setup should look like. And I'm going to go back to Meet the Instructor one more time. And I just want to emphasize that this is exactly what we are looking for, because it has all the information and it has a quick biography that lets students know about you. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you get started with setting up your course and setting up your biography in a way that looks the way that the university wants it to look and communicates the information that you want to communicate. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Goodbye.